Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Liverpool at Old Trafford. So I'll give you all the questions he was asked and I'll give you his responses to them. So the boss answered questions from journalists on Thursday night following our 6-2 victory over Roma and previewed one of the most highly anticipated matches of the campaign, our Old Trafford meeting with Jurgen Klopp's side. In his pre-match press conference, Ollie spoke about the meaning of the prestigious rivalry between England's most successful clubs, our position in the league table, the latest team news and this weekend's social media boycott, among other topics. So anyway, let's get into the first question. So this was the first question. You go into the game against Liverpool above them, which has been a rarity in recent years and the first time for you. Is that a challenge you want to take on that, because that becomes a regular thing, that they are looking at you rather than the other way round? So Ollie's response to that was, of course, we know what they have done the last 3 or 4 seasons. They have been at the top of the league, won the Champions League, and they have had some amazing seasons. This is a challenge to us to have that consistency now that we move up the table and we also challenge Man City and they feel they still have to win a few games. So that was Ollie's response to that question. So the second question was, you have spoken a lot over the last week about clubs listening to fans. There is a big demonstration planned for Sunday afternoon before the Liverpool game to protest against the owners and against the Super League concept. There's a lot of frustration here. What would you say to them? Because you speak a lot about listening to the fans. So Ollie's response to that was, it is important that the fans' views are listened to and we communicate better. My job is to focus on the football side and that we have the best possible team. I have said before, I have been backed and have had great support from the club and the owners. I'm sure I will get the backing again to go one step further. I am so happy that all the clubs agreed that this shouldn't be the way of moving forward. Then again, when the protests are on, it is important that they go in a good fashion and that we keep it peaceful. So that was all response to that question. This was the next question. Further on, that is it going to be a distraction, the protest for the players, because obviously it's a huge game? Ollie's response to that was, the players are focused on the game and nothing else. They have handled difficult situations before. Of course, it was a strange week before the Leeds game after the Super League announcement, but I have got to say that I am not worried for 1 second that our mind is not on the football when it happens. I think you saw here tonight that the players are fully focused on performing. So that was Ollie's response to that question. So the next question was, Bruno Fernandes seemed to take responsibility in the second half. He really stepped up into the game. He's obviously performed well against Liverpool recently. Is that the kind of character you want in your team in these final stages, where you got players like Bruno steering the situation that might be going in a bad way and taking responsibility? So all his response to that was, I think the whole team took responsibility, of course. Bruno Fernandes was part of that as well. We picked an experienced team to handle setbacks, to be able to handle setbacks. It was a big plus for me, the way Bruno, Paul Pogba, Edison Cavani, Rashford, even at his young age. The runs he made in the second half, he might not get the credit for it, but his movement was excellent against Liverpool. We need experience, we need quality, we need to defend well, we need every aspect of the game because we know the quality they have got and they can hit that quality against us easily. So again, fair response from Ollie. So this was this was the next question. What have you made of Liverpool's season, given what they achieved last season? I'm not sure anyone would be predicting from them to fight for a Champions League spot. What have you made of their season so far? So all response to that was, I think we all, before this season, had worries how this season is going to go for the players. They have had bad injuries this season. This season has been more different to any other season in modern football, so I am just focused on ourselves. I cannot say anything about Liverpool's season. I have not really watched them too closely and followed them because I have got my own club and problems and challenges. So again, fair response from Ollie. This was the next question. I know second isn't assured, but it looks like you should finish second. Is there going to be a chance for some of the fringe players and young players to be getting playing time in the league in a run into the potential Europa League final? Ollie's response to that was, we've just got to focus on one game at a time. Of course, if we manage some good results in the next few league games, there will be minutes for more players that deserve to play more. I have got quite a few who haven't played enough, but we have to make sure we do the right things. We have got Liverpool, which is difficult enough as it is. Then we have got Villa, then we've got Leicester, Fulham and Wolves, and we still need to get to the final, so I will take it as it comes. It is hard to plan too far ahead. So that was all response to that question. This was the next question. I think you can be 100% in the top four with a win. How important for the big clubs like yourselves and Liverpool, how much has that been a part of being a big club to be in the Champions League next season? Ollie's response to that was, football has turned this way or become this way. One, you fight to win the Premier League, that is the bread and butter. That is the dream, that is what everyone wants, but there's almost like another trophy, second, third or fourth, because the Champions League is such a massive tournament to be in. You play against the best. There are loads of financial gains by being there. Last season when we were so far behind, our aim was to get in the top four. Sometimes top four is not even secure. Arsenal and Chelsea could still win their respective tournaments and not be top four. So we have just got to make sure that we are doing our job and getting into the Champions League ourselves. So that was response from Molly to that question. So this was towards the end of the press conference. This is second to last question. I appreciate that the focus is on your team, but with the rivalry, one that you were fully invested in as a former player, how much of a bonus would it be to dent Liverpool's Champions League hopes with a victory on Sunday? Ollie's response to that was, we don't go out there. We are just thinking about winning ourselves. Whatever that does to Liverpool, can't be of our concern throughout the season. You have games you look forward to, and this Liverpool game at home is one of the biggest of the season. It doesn't matter if we are first or second, third or fourth, no matter what, this is a massive, massive game. So that was all response to that question. This is the final question. Is there any team news? And on a far more important note, what are your thoughts of the social media boycott taking place this weekend? So Ollie's response to that was, team news, I think everyone should be available. No fresh injury reports from the semi. I'm very pleased that we make this boycott. I think it's important. Ever since I came here, we've been speaking regularly in intervals too often about racism, discrimination, abuse. Of course, this is our way of making a stand, taking a standpoint. We have our own campaign, See Red. I think it's important that we affect people, influence people. We know we are not going to stop it, but hopefully we can influence people a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit. And in the end, we stop talking about it. No one is benefiting for this situation. So yeah, that was exactly everything that was mentioned in the press conference. You know, we're coming into this game against Liverpool full of confidence because we recently had a very, very good win against Roma in the Europa League semi-final first leg. We beaten them 6-2. We were sensational in the second half, but we was poor in the first half. We was 2-1 down at half time. Our goals obviously came from Bruno Fernandes, he got 2, Edison Cavani got 2, and Paul Pogba and Mason Greenwood scored, and Roma's goals came from Lorenzo Pellegrini and Edin Dzeko. I can assure Manchester United are in the Europa League final. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Manchester United manager. We've got a very, very good chance of winning the Europa League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. Solskjaer did say last month that winning trophies can be an ego thing. We are in a good vein of form as well going into this game against Liverpool. We are unbeaten in our last 7 games in all competitions. We did draw our last league game against Leeds 0-0. Man United and Liverpool is the biggest game in English football because Manchester United and Liverpool are the 2 most successful clubs in England historically. Now, we haven't beaten Liverpool in the Premier League since 2018, but Liverpool have not beaten us at Old Trafford since 2014, which is 7 years ago now. We did beat Liverpool earlier on this season 3-2 at Old Trafford in the FA Cup 4th round. We drew with them 0-0 at Anfield in the Premier League. Liverpool have endured a very, very poor season to their standards. Some Liverpool fans have criticised Jurgen Klopp, and even some Liverpool fans have demanded him out. There was a period where Liverpool lost 6 home games on the trot. You know, at one point, no team at all could win at Anfield because don't forget, at one point, there was unbeaten in 68 games at Anfield. But yeah, if we do beat Liverpool tomorrow, their top 4 hopes will be down the sink. By the way, if we fail to beat Liverpool tomorrow and Man City beat Crystal Palace, City have won the title. Liverpool have been the best team for the last 3 years. You know, even Solskjaer admitted that earlier on this season. Jurgen Klopp has been Liverpool manager over 5 years. Let's be honest, he hasn't got a good pedigree behind him, but he has won 4 trophies at Liverpool. Obviously, you know, last season, Klopp won the Premier League. That was Liverpool's first title in 30 years. He won the FIFA Club World Cup. He won the Super Cup. And the season before, he won the Champions League. Liverpool have won the Champions League 6 times. They've won the most Champions Leagues out of the English clubs. They got to the 2018 Champions League final. Obviously, they lost 3-1 to Real Madrid. Jurgen Klopp is under contract with Liverpool until 2024. He extended his contract last season. Before Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp was at Borussia Dortmund. He won a few trophies with them. And before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05. And his record at Mainz 05 was disastrous. Jurgen Klopp is the best manager Liverpool have had in the Premier League era. They've had quite a few good managers. Obviously, before they had Jurgen Klopp, they had Brendan Rodgers. You can say he enjoyed one good season at Liverpool. They had Roy Hodgson at one point. He's probably one of the worst managers that Liverpool have had. They had Kenny Dalglish as well. He wasn't a good manager, but I thought he was a good player for Liverpool. They did have Rafa Benitez. He was a good manager for them. Rafa Benitez won the Champions League when he was at Liverpool. They also had Gerard Houllier a lot of years ago. He did well for them. Gerard Houllier is no longer here though, because he did pass away earlier on this season. And many, many years ago, they had Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly. Liverpool drew their last league game against Newcastle 1-1. I think Liverpool have spent over £400 million under Jurgen Klopp. We've spent a lot more than Liverpool. We've spent over £1 billion in total in the last 8 years. You know, Liverpool are one title behind us, you know. They're on 19 and we're on 20. Now, Liverpool have got injuries. It said 6 players are going to miss the game through injury. So, obviously, they've got Kelleher injured, who's one of their goalkeepers. Origi's injured, but he wouldn't get in Liverpool's team anyway. I think there's a good chance that Liverpool will offload Origi in the summer transfer window. He's like their 4th choice striker. They've also got Jordan Henderson injured. I don't think he's going to be available now. And Jordan Henderson's one of their key players. He's Liverpool's current captain. Joe Gomez is injured. Joe Matip is injured. He's injury prone, is Matip, you know. Could Liverpool offload Matip in the summer transfer window? Obviously, that Phillips is injured. And Virgil van Dijk is injured. Obviously, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Injuries have really, really affected Liverpool this season. So anyway, they're the injuries that they've got. Mohamed Salah, you know, he's a very, very good player for Liverpool. I think he'll be in contention to play tomorrow. Mohamed Salah, despite being a good player, you know, he still has endured his bad games. Roberto Firmino, I think he's been very, very poor in a lot of games this season. Being criticised by a lot of Liverpool fans. You know, he hasn't been really good though, Firmino, for the last couple of years. You know, I think Liverpool will sell him. You know, if it isn't in this year's summer transfer window, they'll probably sell him next year. Sadio Mane, you know, he's a good player for Liverpool, but he can endure his bad games as well. You know, when Mane plays well though, he shows good attacking intent. You know, he creates chances and he can score very, very good goals. Diego Jota, you know, he's made a fantastic impact at Liverpool. Liverpool got him last year from Wolves. Jota was actually out injured earlier on this season. Shaqiri, I think there's a good chance that Liverpool will offload him in the summer transfer window. You know, Shaqiri isn't a 90-minute player. He makes an impact from the bench. I don't see Shaqiri starting against us tomorrow. There again, he started in a 0-0 draw at Anfield, surprisingly. Liverpool got Shaqiri from Stoke. Liverpool do have a lot of midfielders in their team. Obviously, they've got Wijnaldum. I think there's a good chance that Liverpool will offload him in the summer transfer window. He said earlier on this season that Wijnaldum rejected a contract extension. And he's not one of Liverpool's first choice midfielders. They've got Naby Keita. He's one of their midfielders. I can see Liverpool offloading him because he doesn't even get in Liverpool's team. Naby Keita. They've also got Thiago. They got him last year from Bayern Munich. He hasn't really done well at Liverpool. I think a lot of Liverpool fans expected him to do a lot more than what he's, produced. Don't forget we went in for Thiago. Liverpool have obviously got Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, I think he's been a good player for Liverpool, but he's injury prone. He's sustained quite a few bad injuries at Liverpool. I also liked Chamberlain when he was at Arsenal, and I also liked him when he was at Southampton. Liverpool have obviously got James Milner. He's been good for them, to be fair. I'm expecting him to leave Liverpool at the end of this season. Will he retire or will he go to another club before he retires? They've also got that Curtis Jones, Liverpool. He's a young player. They've got that Tsimkas. They got him last year. He doesn't get in Liverpool's team really, does he? I think he's a left back, so I think he's a backup to Andrew Robertson. Liverpool have obviously got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is a world-class right-back. But he's enjoyed a lot of poor games this season. I think defensively he's been very, very poor. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been at Liverpool a long time. He isn't up their youth system. Despite him being poor in a lot of games this season, I still think he's, the best right-back in the league. One of the best right-backs in the world, I should say. Andrew Robertson, I think he's also a very, very good left back, but he's also enjoyed his poor games. Earlier on this year, Liverpool brought Ben Davies in, and they also brought that Kabak in. I think Liverpool will probably get Kabak permanently. And Liverpool have got a very, very good goalkeeper in Allinson. He's probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. Fabinho's also very, very good for Liverpool. He'll probably be playing tomorrow. He'll go centre half because obviously Liverpool have got a few centre halves out with injury. Obviously Liverpool have let a few players go. Don't forget they let Nathaniel Klein go. They let Lovren go. They let Adam Lallana go. They let Brewster go. They let Hoover go. They let Trivella go. They did loan Minamino out to Southampton. Liverpool actually got Minamino in January of last year. Last season Liverpool went on a 44-game unbeaten run. So a lot of people will think the Klopp-outers are deluded. Do you think Klopp will see his contract out at Liverpool? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I reckon Liverpool's next manager will be Steven Gerrard when Klopp leaves. Because by the time, Klopp leaves, Gerrard will have that experience behind him. Gerrard's done really, really well at Rangers. Anyway, the only two injuries we've got is Anthony Martial. He's out with a knee injury. It's very, very likely he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Martial sustained a knee injury whilst he was on international duty with France. And obviously Phil Jones, he's out with injury, but he doesn't get in R11 anyway. Going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game. I'm expecting him to make some changes, from the 6-2 win against Roma. To be honest though, we haven't been great against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. Obviously, our next game after Liverpool is Roma in the second leg of the Europa League semi-final. And then after that, it's Aston Villa. Man United will probably finish second this season. We know we're not going to win the league, obviously. But Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that we'd never ever give up on the Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So that's 8 years ago now. I obviously give you the news regarding Edinson Cavani yesterday. Edinson Cavani has decided that he wants to stay at Manchester United in the summer. It's expected to be made official next week. Cavani is close to agreeing a 1-year contract extension with Man United, but I presume all United fans will be delighted with this news regarding Cavani because we said, wanted him to stay for next season. And I presume that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be delighted because Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Solskjaer did recently say that he's doing all he can to convince Edinson Cavani to stay at Manchester United. Prior to that, Solskjaer said Edinson Cavani's future was not 100% decided, but before that, he said Edinson Cavani will leave. Not so long ago, Cavani had a meeting with Man United and he asked to leave Man United to join Boca Juniors. It also looks like, Paul Pogba is staying. Paul Pogba's come out and said that he will accept a new contract if Manchester United offer him one. But I want Paul Pogba to stay potentially past the summer because, been getting the best out of him in recent months and he does bring creativity to the team. On my next video, I will be giving you an update, by the way, on some more transfer news. You obviously know the news regarding the Glazers and that. Man United are expecting up to 10,000 protesters against the Glazers ahead of our game against Liverpool. Obviously, Solskjaer's backs Man United fans' right to protest against the Glazers. Not so long ago, our fans protested against the Glazers outside Old Trafford and we burnt the American flag. And the other week, our fans protested against the Glazers outside Carrington and our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest. Obviously, there was banners saying 51%, MUFC 20 and Glazers out. Solskjaer did actually insist that the Glazer family will not sell Man United, and before that he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. The Red Knights not so long ago told the Glazers to sell Manchester United. The Glazers want £4 billion to sell the club. The Glazers apologised the other week over the European Super League plans because obviously they was planning to ditch the Champions League for the European Super League. But it'd be the right decision by Man United to get the Glazers out. It really, really would. Because I hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. We need to recommend new owners in. The Glazers have been at Man United around 16 years now. They've been with us since 2005. And obviously, you know the news regarding Ed Woodward. Woodward's house recently got attacked by masked protesters. Got announced the other week that Ed Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. You know, he will stand down at the end of the year. And apparently Woodward will get to choose Manchester United's next chief executive. But I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Woodward, because we've been very critical of Woodward for a long time. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.